Okay. So greetings to everyone. We thank you for being part of this meeting, both live on Facebook and other social media channels and here on Zoom. You're most welcome to this meeting. I'm seeing still we are not very many people, but I think we can start because it's already time. It's already 4:30 East African time. And I think, yes, we are ready to start. And we have a special guest today. The special guest is none other than Lawrence Ssengendo. Lawrence Ssengendo has hosted a number of meetings. I think from the very start, he hasn't missed hosting. I think he has missed a few. So today it's not the hot seat. It's the very comfortable seat where you're going to be asked a few questions and he will answer. So I would want us to go right ahead without wasting time to Lawrence. Lawrence, you're going to briefly tell us about yourself. Actually, you can go in depth there. Tell us everything about yourself so that people watching this and people who are participating in this meeting can get to know more about you. We've just seen your face. We just know you as Lawrence Ssengendo. Who is that Lawrence Ssengendo? Where were you born? Who are you? Who really are you? Thank you. Back to you, Lawrence.
Okay, thank you so much, Patricia. My name is Ssengendo Lawrence, and I'm the programs manager of the Africa Business Academy. And I am born in Bushenyi district and actually brought up in Mbarara, which are districts in the southwestern region of Uganda. And I studied most of my time in the districts of Mbarara, Bushenyi, and of course, I went to St. Lawrence Primary School, which is similar to my name. And then from there, I went to St. Mukasa Preparatory Seminary in Bushenyi, and then moved to Chitabi Seminary. And where I, of course, at that time, the ambition was to become a priest, but the conditions, of course, changed later on. And of course, I left and came back to the normal mainstream life. And then I have, of course, a degree in procurement and logistics management from Kumba University, and then a postgraduate diploma in project planning and management. And I've, of course, had lots of experiences growing up in sports. I've played volleyball at the National League, and of course, quite a number of things. Now, when I left the educational scope, I did get into work. My first working space was as a sales executive at the New Vision Printing and Publishing Company, where I worked for around 8 months, and then I moved to Nasa Road and to sell printers and photocopiers. I think I did that for around 6 months, and during that period, I also came to learn graphics and design that have been one of the key things to one of the businesses that I own, which is called Idea Archive, that has what was set up from the experience I gained on the road at NASA. That time with at NASA Road, then I was able to get some time to work with the Ministry of Finance. And with the Ministry of Finance, I was working with a team that does the poverty status report researches. And I was able to work on the poverty status report for 2012. I worked on the poverty status report for Uganda for 2014. I worked on the minimum wage in 2015, the minimum wage for Uganda, and then the poverty status report of 2018. And so that's been quite a wonderful experience. And working on the poverty status report included the collection of data in the field in selected areas. and then developing of reports, and then these reports are used by the Minister of Finance to inform the budget formulation before it's done. Then, of course, because that was part-time work, so in between there, I did a monitoring and evaluation role as a monitoring and evaluation person for Plan International in Kamuli, where I just had a 4-month standing role, and I feel it's been one of the things that has brought me to where I am. And of course, then of course in 2019 when I joined the Africa Business Academy as the programs manager. That is what it is for me, Patricia.
Thank you, Lawrence, for that intro. And maybe I wouldn't want to go into detail to ask you more things. Say briefly, talk about yourself, and you've said that marital status. Are you married? Do you have any children?
Okay. Okay. Yeah. I am engaged. I am engaged with a beautiful woman. She's a teacher, and she has been able to bear for me 3 beautiful girls. That's it about my status. And of course, now that you've asked me about now, because you see, I married the teacher. Then with her, we were able to set up an organization called Jurao Education Services that does production of educational materials and quite a number of things within the educational scope. But that I was able to do because I'm not a person who participated in education, but I was able to do because of my wife whose experience was in education. So it's good you asked that so that I was able to talk about that.
Thank you, Lawrence. Thank you. Glad that we know about the beautiful lady. Some of us did know about her. So I'll quickly go to just the next. It's not a question, but just to pose to you. When did you first experience agriculture?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I have had I've had a turbulent relationship.
Lawrence, over to you.
Thank you, Patricia. I've said
When
my
did you
relationship.
first experience agriculture?
Thank you. And I was saying that my relationship with agriculture has been so turbulent. I mean, growing up, I grew up in a semi-urban area, which is within the outskirts of Mbarara town in Mbarara. And then, of course, we had gardens around the home, gardens of maize, gardens of beans, where we would go, of course, do some work. And then we also had a banana plantation that was quite some distance, around 16 kilometers. And so when you grow up and become a boy around P6, then you start riding, you have to ride and take their manure, and then possibly bring back matoki back home for food. And now I actually then at the time when I joined P6 and P7 in a boarding school, we used to do agriculture every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday were always days for agriculture where that is at St. Mukasa Preparatory Seminary. So we would be in the garden in the evening on Monday, in the evening on Wednesday, and in the evening on Friday. Now, of course, that's also one of the key things that I always talk about. And you do realize that in those schools at that time, there was an issue where they would avoid to do corporal punishment and possibly pass on. Sometimes when you've done wrong, you would be pushed to do some agricultural work that started spoiling my relationship with agriculture. Of course, from there, I moved to Chitavi Seminary, which of course works around the same cycles. You do agriculture on Monday in the evening. We called it manual work at that time. You do manual work on Monday, you do manual work on Tuesday, you do manual work on Wednesday and Friday. And of course, it involved a number of things, working in the banana plantation, planting maize, planting beans, and also planting some trees. We did plant some forests that I visited the school some time back. Some of the forests that we planted still stand, but of course, at when I completed senior 2, so at senior 3, you were supposed to major to get into the key 10 subjects, and that's where the issue came, because agriculture was set up against literature, and at that time my key interest was to become a lawyer. I don't know whether it's a true thing, but at that time we were told if you wanted to become a lawyer, you needed to do literature. So because agriculture was standing against literature, my decision was literature without any question. But of course, the decision at that time was being affected by the fact that I wanted to become a lawyer, and not of the fact that I liked it or did not like it. And then on a second note, I also want to remind you that because sometimes when we committed some wrongs, we would be taken to do manual work in the field by force, it had spoiled my relationship with agriculture. And me support my decision to pick literature as opposed to picking agriculture. Of course, all through my academic life, I continued not to like agriculture because of that issue. And it's one of the reasons why I like to talk about the fact that, of course, such kinds of things like punishment within agriculture is one of the biggest negative sellers of agriculture. Because when growing up, I think for so many people who grew up in schools that did agriculture and manual work here and there, you do find that those things cannot disappear. When you've done something wrong, they will, of course, push you to do agriculture. And I want to say that it's a good thing looking at it from an old person's view now, because it taught us so many things. You are able to, even if you were in committing a crime, rather than being beaten for possibly around 20 or 30 strokes, you'd be taken to the garden to get a skill, which skill is supporting quite so many people. Yeah, as of I say, as a young person, my attitude towards it was bad, but as an old person, I think it was okay, rather than, because it solved some of the issues rather than children being beaten, or young men and children and boys and girls being beaten, they would be sent to do some of that. But it has been one of the creators of kind of negativity around agriculture. But as an old person, I do understand that it was a good thing, and because of the virtues it teaches you, and because it made us respectable young boys at that time. So I think that's it about my relationship. Yeah, it was a bit negative and positive, and then I think in my later life around 2010, I met one of my best friends, and he did tell me some good things about agriculture. And then I visited a farm in Rowero, one that belongs to someone called Abdul Karim. And when I visited his farm, I joined the doctrine. I became agriculture. I became part of it. It was through my friend that I was able to go to the farm, and I appreciate that. And that's when me and agriculture set the relationship straight. Now we are thick as thieves. I think that's all I would say, Patricia.
Thank you, Lawrence. Glad to know that actually that to date your relationship is actually positive. Most Ugandans who are watching this, we can testify that most of us actually grew up seeing agriculture as a punish. It's something to punish, and most of us would shy away from it and would look at it as something bad. But Lawrence, we are glad to know that maybe your participant. Maybe I'll quickly go to the next question. Are you engaged in any agriculture venture now?
Yes, I am. I'm engaged in agriculture venture. I am trying to set up myself into the dairy sector, and I presently, as of last year, owned 3 cows, and one of them delivered in February, and then the other one became pregnant, and then the other breed failed. The other one failed to settle in, and I had sell it off because it wasn't a good breed. We had tried to look after it so well, and it didn't work out. So presently I have three. I have two old ones and one young one, one calf, and they are in Ssengendo district. And of course, just a minute before I drop off, and one of the reasons, of course, why I learned why I wouldn't keep the other breed that wasn't working was because of engaging with some of the people within agriculture who I inquired from and told them about how my other cow was doing. They said the breed wasn't performing well, and then I basically had to move it, and now I'm with the two that are doing well. One has a calf and the other is pregnant. That's what I'm doing, Patricia. Yes, but yes, Patricia, and of course, for quite a number of the people who are with us, I would also like to tell them that, of course, I have interests engaging further in agriculture, where I have interests of doing fruit trees and interests in doing in looking after rabbits, but possibly that is for later. But I'm not yet doing that now, and the only key thing I'm doing right now is the dairy animals that I'm looking after. Patricia? Okay. I think as Patricia comes in, then basically I would like to maybe take this opportunity now to talk about my journey with the Africa Agribusiness Academy. I mean, I joined the Africa Agribusiness Academy in 2018, did around some part-time work, and for some time, and for the year, I mean, I was supporting both the executive director and executive assistant on quite a number of roles until I became the programs manager in 2019. So my role was to look at ensuring that the programs around the 6 countries where Africa Business Academy works stick to the strategic focus of the organization by ensuring that you look at the performance towards the achievement of the indicators, giving advice on implementation on most of the things that should be done here and there, and then of course supporting the development of possibly new programs. Where during my time and the Africa Business, I've supported the development of 2 programs. That is the Youth League program, which looks at how Africa Business Academy works with the youth, and then of course we talk about the mentorship and coaching program that looks quite a lot at how organizations that the Africa Business Academy works with can be able to work together, share the knowledge that they have to ensure that those are at a different level can be able to improve through mentorship by the stronger organizations. And I think that's a lot of what I've been doing, and of course taking a few responsibilities in terms of supporting the fundraising activities, and then of course working with some of the partners that we have, and the volunteers. I think that's it that I'm doing with the Africa Business Academy. Patricia? I think we do not yet. Of course, I don't know what has happened with Patricia, but I think that's around what I've been doing around this area. And of course, one of the other things that I'd like to talk about.
Lawrence. Thank you,
Yes,
Lawrence, for that. I think I missed disturbed a bit. I would want to triple A so far with the members. Are you, Lawrence?
okay. I don't know if that's yeah, Patricia.
please. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Go right ahead now.
Yes, I was asking what has been your experience working with AAA?
Yeah, of course. I mean, joining the Africa Good Business
You're going to
Academy.
give us the members and the staff.
Okay, are we together? Okay, so I think joining the Africa Good Business Academy was quite a big step in my life, and one it came at a time when I joined, and then I was looking at these so many members, what they are doing, what are their experiences, and I was looking at myself as a young man, and how would I settle in to ensure that I am relevant and to ensure that I'm making positive contribution. So I looked at these people with vast experiences in agriculture. Most of the members we are working with. Then I looked at, of course, their experiences. They are much more experienced in quite a number of things that I would do. So I sat and found, yeah, many of these guys were, I mean, people doing dairy, people doing honey, people doing what, and this was me with quite some experience in agriculture. So for me to settle in better, that's why I said, okay, these people are good at this and that. So I decided to become the agriculture soldier. And one of the main reasons, of course, why I chose to become an agriculture soldier was because of my need to change the landscape for agriculture, especially for the young people, by explaining to them the good things that agriculture offers. And in my belief, it would help. And because of the experiences that I share related to agricultural punishment that happens in schools, I believe that it would help to improve and increase the youth participation in agriculture. So once I settled in to start doing this role, then it helped me settle in and become an even, yes, the people who are working with had vast experiences in so many areas, and I would also be participating in that in terms of improving. So it's then that we became even. I think I've made quite good friends with so many members, and it was a wonderful, when you visit their organizations, what they are doing is so wonderful. And one of the things that I like about it all is it's been my school of agribusiness. Like I've learned so much through these members about dairy, about honey, about fruits and vegetables, because if when you visit the farm, these people are willing to share their knowledge, which is very, very wonderful. And then, of course, now when it comes to the staff, I mean, it's always nice to work with the Africa Business Academy staff. One of the main things I always tell people is because they are young people, young people working with fellow young people is just beautiful. And I like, of course, the energies that they all bring and how it relates a lot with improving capacities of agribusinesses. Of course, when you look at all that they were doing, was I met people with very great experiences, and I've learned a lot from them and been able to work with them up to now. So I appreciate and the knowledge that I've been able to acquire from both the members and the staff of the Africa Good Business Academy. Patricia.
Thank you, Lawrence. Thank you for that experience. We are glad to know that you've actually learned a lot from Triple A with the members and staff and the other higher authorities, the board, and everyone else. We are happy to know that. From that, I'll quickly ask you a question that you could maybe just give us what you think. Where do you see AAA in the next few years? Where
Okay.
do you see AAA in the next few years?
Yeah, I mean, it's of course joining the team in 2019. I was able to join it at the time when the Africa Business Academy was entering a transitional period. And of course, this transitional period brings in quite a few challenges, like on people not knowing what happens forward. But to me, the Africa Business Academy in the transitional period is standing at a very, very wonderful period in terms of the fact that we are bringing on quite a number of new programs, the fact that we are moving into newer and broader activities that will bring in a lot for the members that we are working with and the partners. And of course, I also look at the fact that having brought around quite a number of partners that were able to sign on in both 2020, 2019, and 2021 also puts the Africa Business Academy at a greater position to attract, of course, funding and to be able to do much newer, move into newer spaces of programming and do some of the things that were not done before, as well as offer better services to the members. I mean, I think that's the best that I would look at, that the evolution of the Africa Business Academy is actually now. And for people out there, if you're not yet a member, it's better to become a member now, because in the next few years, the Africa Business Academy is going to become much better than it was before in terms of programming and impact on the beneficiaries. Patricia. And of course, as Patricia comes in, and of course, all this is possible and successful, of course, with the continuous support that we have from our board of trustees, who are giving us quite a lot of support. The members, both the youth and the agribusiness SME members, and the Pan-African board that includes the leaders of the chapters in the countries we are working with. Patricia.
Thank you, Lawrence. I hope you can hear me. Thank
Yes,
you
I can.
for that, and definitely to take you somewhere else in a different direction, and that is to the youth, especially in agriculture. So what's your view on youth participation in agriculture? What is your view on youth participation in agriculture?
Yeah, I mean, even the Bible talks about it. I'm not a very strong Bible reader, but the Bible says, I think somewhere, the book of Jonah, where they were saying the grandfathers ate the mangoes and we are the ones feeling the pain in our mouth. The truth is, agriculture presently, when you look through the entire scope, most of this nice agricultural work is being done by the old people. But then you continuously ask yourself, what happens? There are people above the 50s, above 40s, actually above 50s and above. And you do ask yourself, these guys are losing energy. These guys at one time will not be able to do so much. So the key thing is for the youth is, before you are no longer a youth, and before you no longer have the energy that you have today, it's very, very important for you to start your participation in agriculture. So it's just because we are the ones with the energy, we are the ones with the creativity. There is a lot of talk presently about agricultural tech and what it does in improvement of productivity, improvement of quality, improvement of quite so many things. the reach to the market presently has got a lot of technology around it. And as youth, we are the best people at this. We are the best people at tech. We are the best people at the use of technology. We are the best people at with the energy, with the greatest energy efforts. And of course, the statistics of Uganda also do state that the youth are the biggest part of the population. I think it's not only Uganda, it's for Africa, as the youth being the biggest part of the population. And in being the biggest part of the population, unless we put our energies towards agriculture, I think then the battle will be lost. But because you do realize agriculture, every day you have to eat. The clothes we put on are made from cotton, which is an agricultural product. In terms of the food, in terms of protecting the agriculture is the route through which the environment can be protected, and so many other things. So it's a call on every youth out there. If you've not yet put your energies right, please do begin. It doesn't matter what you do. There is the participation spaces for the youth abroad. We can work in terms of transportation, in terms of harvesting, in terms of linking these things to the market, in terms of packaging, in terms, it's the space is so big. It's just that the youth need to wake up and take their positions in agriculture so that we can shape the better future, not only for the country, but for Africa as a continent. Patricia.
Thank you for that. Thank you. We are almost coming to the close of this, but I would like to give you an opportunity to talk about anything else I could have left out, because I've been setting questions for you somehow, but I know there is something I've been asked before we come to the concluding remarks.
Yeah, I mean, thank you, Patricia. And of sorry, sorry. I was saying that my final message for the youth on this is to the youth. And what am I telling the youth? I'm telling the youth that um, if we need change as the key people who are interested in change, because we have to make change for the future. Change does not begin from trees. Change does not begin from wishing. Change does not begin from sitting and waiting for it to happen. Change starts with you. Yes, there are quite so many things. Yes, and we say so many international forums like the UN are talking about things around change for agriculture, change for youth, change for whatever. But the beginning of all this is you. And that's the main thing. So you must be able, one, to embrace change. You must be able to change, and you must be able to live within what the change brings for it to be able to happen. So this does not just go for the youth, it goes for every other players. Let's not just stop at the dilly-dallying, complaining, this has not been done, that has not been done, but let us become the beginners of so many of these things. I think that's what I would say, Patricia.
Thank you, Lawrence. I would like to add a voice and actually say, yes, change actually starts with us, and I believe we can all do something. So it's a slogan that maybe that could be used in the different companies with the different members and say, yes, we can, yes, you can as a person, and it starts with us. So I think we've come to the end of the meeting, and Lawrence's questions actually are done with the Q&As. That is it. I don't know if there are any questions from the audience. If there's any question, please, you have the opportunity. We have like 3 to 5 minutes to do the Q&A, and if they're not there, I'll just give like maybe a few seconds. If there is anything, I'll take it up. And if we don't have any, I'll also go on to actually go in the process of closing the meeting. I think we don't have any questions, and I would like to appreciate Lawrence for the good job. Thank you for giving us that very good information about yourself and about Africa agribusiness as a whole, and your personal views about the different things that you've been talking about. It was a good meeting. Thank you for keeping time. I think because you've been a host so many times, you're very good at this, better than most of us, that you kept your time, you've been in time. Thank you so much. It was good information. And from my side, I like this. It's something that I get with it. I make sure I am logging in and I'm listening in. And of course, as you all know, we have more guests coming every Thursday of the week out. Make sure you and you listen in. Has been Patricia Chopra, Agribusiness Academy, and Lawrence, our programs manager, Africa Agribusiness Academy. From me, if Lawrence doesn't have anything to add, I'll just give him an opportunity maybe to say goodbye and we close the meeting. Thank you.
Yeah, of course, I would like, of course, to appreciate being hosted with the Africa Agribusiness Academy agribusiness discussions. It's a good experience to add to my CV, and we look forward for the best. Thanks so much, and bye-bye.
Bye-bye for those watching us online and on any live media channel. Thank you. Thank you for being with us for this discussion. Look out next Thursday for the special guest for the week. Yeah? Thank you. Bye-bye. Meeting is adjourned. Thank you.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.